Hello, good morning. Good morning on a Friday, Rational Live. I never do these on Friday mornings, but I was gonna. I should never make plans ahead of time. I was going to do this live stream last night, but I had done another stream already on the Bernie speech, and then by the end of the day, my eyes were glazed over. Today it is. All right. A lot to get to. The Trump booing story is really the least important thing I'll be talking about today. But I put it in the headline because I'm not going to make a separate video out of that. But let me give you a little preview of what I will get to today. So apart from Trump getting booed, right-wing reporters suddenly discovered the police act unlawfully. I'll get to that story in a bit. Trump blocked face masks from getting to people in April. This was a story that came out last week, but Ruth Bader Ginsburg had died the day after, and this story really didn't get enough attention, and I wasn't able to focus on it because I was going to talk about that, but then other stuff came up. Anyways, we'll get to that. Biden in polling, how he's looking against Trump right now. A house fire that oddly is is being blamed on anarchists that also apparently are very strong Biden supporters. We will get to that later, and I will discuss some Canadian things, Jagmeet Singh, and what he has managed to do after Trudeau's speech from the throne, and maybe some other stuff. And of course, I will get to all your chats as well. Progressive Voice, I see in the chat, says, how many wins does David have in Warzone? 0, unless you count one against the AI. So 1. I think I've played that game like 4 times. But if you want to play, I'll play you. All right. Before I go anywhere, before I get to anything, already off to a great start. RationalNational.com/join. It's kind of hidden behind the chat there, but that's the Patreon page. Links are below the video as well to support the show. The Patreon page, YouTube membership, super chats, of course, will help. I see there's already one here. I will get to in a minute. And Streamlabs, PayPal, number of ways to help the show. All right. I really don't like advertising myself, but I kind of have to do it to be able to keep doing this work. Okay, let me grab, I see one chat here so far. Someone already getting in early. Let me go to my super chats page, and I will address that before going on to the first story. Also, in case you're new to the stream, I got to remind people, I'm the only person here, so occasionally there are pauses in action where you can go grab a drink, do whatever, as I prep the next story, just so you understand. All right, fully automated luxury LGBT, then it cuts off. But this person says, I know U.S. politics is wild and important to go over, but might we also be able to go over the throne speech from a few days ago? It's on CPAC. They used Biden's Build Back Better slogan like 5 times, for fuck's sake. So I'm not going to go over the throne speech necessarily, but I am going to go over the reaction from the NDP leader to the throne speech and what he has managed to push the Liberal Party to do. So I will get to the throne speech, just not those specifics. But yeah, I did notice, I think I saw hashtag build, I didn't watch the full speech, but I saw something about hashtag build back better, and I thought I was seeing things. But no, apparently I guess they were using Biden's slogan. Really weird. Okay. There we go. No more chat. Chat will come up when I'm done all the stories, when I get to whatever super chats are remaining. But let me start with the least important story of the day, but something I want to talk about. While visiting the Supreme Court to appear beside Ruth Bader Ginsburg's casket, Trump was loudly booed Now, I want to play this. I also want to show you the reaction from Kayleigh McEnany, the White House press secretary. And I'm also going to show you an update on Trump's approval rating. And if you're watching this live in the live stream, I will get to polling as well later on between Biden and Trump. But first, let's get to this lovely video. All right, I think that kind of speaks for itself. You hear the crowd booing him and then chanting, vote him out, vote him out. And then he walks away. Now, this is just a great reminder of how hated Donald Trump is. He lost by 3 million votes. I really don't think we say that enough. At least I don't. He lost by 3 million votes. The last time that a Republican president won a majority of the voters, won the popular vote, it was Ronald Reagan. Or I guess George Bush's second term. But in terms of a first term, Ronald Reagan. So you have here just the acknowledgement, just the reminder that people hate Donald Trump. And also, I want to remind you, Trump won Wisconsin with less votes than Romney lost the state with in 2012. Again, showing you how beatable this man is. But Hillary Clinton, the absolute worst candidate to go up against Trump in 2016. I think pretty much anyone else could have defeated him. And he's even more hated now. But let me show you first the reaction here from the White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany.
On another note, today at the Supreme Court, when the president approached, was paying his respects to Justice Ginsburg, there were some people in the crowd that started to chant to respect her wishes, to uphold her wishes. Do you have some thoughts on those chants, which also, included vote him out?
Yeah, I think the chants were appalling, but certainly to be expected when you're in the heart of the swamp. I travel with the president all across the country, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida, Nevada, and everywhere we go, the streets are lined with support like I don't think any other president has had previously.
Yeah, okay. She calls it appalling. The booing, the chanting of vote him out, that was appalling. What I find appalling is Donald Trump canceling a plan to send every American household 5 masks early on in the pandemic. That was a plan the USPS had. It was going to go through. Every single person in the country was going to receive masks. Trump canceled that. What I find appalling is the state of the coronavirus. Compare the U.S. to every other major country. The amount of cases in the U.S. is insane. What Americans are dealing with right now compared to other major countries. And I make that comparison on this channel all the time because the numbers by themselves, you hear 200,000 dead. It's hard to put this kind of stuff into context unless you have the context. But compared to other countries, the U.S. numbers are insane. Also, I find it appalling that Trump has been trying to destroy the Postal Service in addition to a number of other ways to try and steal this election. So that is what is actually appalling. And let's take a look at his approval rating here. So 538 compiles all the approval ratings across the board. The only pollster you will see where he has a positive approval rating is from Rasmussen. The rest are all not looking good. So 51 disapproval, 50, again, Rasmussen, 53, 53, 53. In fact, if I zoom out a little bit, it cuts off the difference here on the side. But if I zoom out, there you go. You can see here on the side. So Disapproval plus 11. Disapprove plus 11 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 13 plus 13 plus 8 plus 12 plus 10 plus 1 approve, Rasmussen. Plus 10 plus 15 plus 14 plus 17. Trump is hated. He is absolutely hated. So regardless of what Kayleigh McEnany may see on the road with Trump occasionally, where he's going to speak in front of supporters that, of course, they're there to show up to see him. Those are where his supporters are, in those rallies. But by and large, most people hate the man. Now, of course, I don't want to get too deep into the election in this segment here, but if you vote, most Democrats are going to vote by mail this election because of the virus. So it's expected that you're not going to see the final results on election day because there will be so many mail-in ballots. So I think it's important that we remind people over and over again that you should not expect the result on election day. Trump will try and claim victory with in-person voting, even though the result is not in. Understand it's going to take a few days, maybe even weeks, before you see the final count. So just keep that in mind, and don't be discouraged when you, see a Trump supporter or a Trump supporter, or you have them in your family, or you see Trump signs around your city or whatever. Don't get discouraged. By and large, the American people hate him, and they will come out to vote against him. Trump is absolutely going to lose the popular vote again. The only real question is, will he be able to steal the election? We're going to have to wait and see. All right. Pausing there before I get to some more stuff. New member Cecilia, thank you for becoming a member. Winston says YouTube chat is so cancerous. Well, Winston, you are a mod. So mod away. Mod away. Honestly, I don't really care. People are going to troll, but you can ignore most of it. It's fine. All right. Let me move on here. Going to prep this next story. That is, I find pretty funny. Well, I shouldn't actually mix that up. It's not really funny, but it's kind of funny. I'm noticing a lot of websites now have paywalls. Ones that I used to rely on all the time, like Business Insider, Mediaite, they are beginning to introduce paywalls. It's going to get to the point now where, I don't know, I may actually have to spend some money on these people. I support independent media, but when it comes to, a site like the Washington Post, especially, or New York Times, I'm not going to give them cash. But man, my options are being cut down. All right. I think that's everything. The right-wing outlet, the Daily Caller, is threatening to sue the Louisville police or threatened to sue the Louisville police after two of the reporters were arrested and charged during protests. Now, this gets into a whole can of worms where we are talking about an outlet here that has continued pushing the idea that the police can do no wrong, that if you were arrested, if the police tackle you, if they shoot you, then it's your fault. You didn't comply. But now that they were arrested and charged, all of a sudden, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is happening. Now, I will say up front here, they should not have been arrested and charged. Members of the press, I don't care how horrible the shit is that you put out there, you should not be arrested and charged. But they, of course, will never extend that same courtesy to anybody else. Let me show you here the initial video. This is Shelby Talcott and Ventura Report have been detained and are now awaiting processing before we can attempt to post bail. So this was September 24th at 12:56 a.m.
Everybody on the ground! You okay? Cooperate, stop resisting.
Everybody put your hands on your face. Put your hands on your face.
You okay? You're good.
Gun! Gun! Behind you, gun! Behind you.
It's mine, and it's in my name. That's
Sir,
the first.
we're press.
Give me your hand.
Sir, we're press.
Ashley, get me off of my chest.
Stay where you're
I
at.
have Ashley. Get me off of my chest then.
All right, so a number of times you hear one of the journalists call out, "Sir, repress, repress, repress." The cops don't care. Of course they don't care. They just round everybody up, and they are arrested and charged. Daily Caller responded to this, saying if you've seen footage from the riots across the country over the last few months, chances are it came from Shelby or Venture Report. Now they've been detained for the last 12 hours by LMPD, despite numerous calls from our staff identifying them as press. Let them go. This has happened, I don't even know how many times at this point, to other members of the press. Did you see the Daily Caller out there denouncing that and saying how, oh, the cops should not be arresting the CNN anchor that was arrested a few months ago, or anybody else from the press that has been arrested in almost every single one of these protests where there have been these roundups? But it happened to them. Oh my God, end of the world. Now again, yes, they should not have been arrested, but they're never going to come to anyone else's aid, or they're never going to call out this abusive force when it happens to anybody else. So, give you a little more detail here. A little after midnight, Ingersoll indicated police had refused to release the reporters and that they would be charged with 2 misdemeanors related to breaking curfew and unlawful assembly for their alleged failure to comply with police orders to disperse and for press to relegate themselves to an observation area. Another reporter for the outlet, Richie McGinnis, said police relayed that they would not be eligible for bail until at least Friday. In a statement through McGinnis, Talcott said police were not holding prisoners in compliance with social distancing protocols. Quote, "This is absurd," Talcott said. "I am packed in with 28 other people in a 20 by 20 cell. Not all of us have masks, and there is not enough room, so people are sleeping on the floor." This is the kind of stuff that other outlets have been reporting on forever. Yet they're discussing this like it's brand new information. Oh, I can't believe we're being held in close quarters with others with no masks and no social distancing. Oh my God, this is so unsafe. Yeah, it's been happening for a while. But you only recognize it when it happens to you. Now, let me show you here. This is the Daily Caller co-founder, Neil Patel, saying, unlike other outlets, we have interviewed police about this and told their side of the story. Now he's trying to appeal to authority here. But this is not China. Those reporters flat out have a constitutionally protected role to play on our streets. Goes on and says the Louisville Police Department is going to find out all about this in the form of a lawsuit unless things start changing fast. Okay, well, eventually they were, I believe they were released the same day later on. This from Brendan Gutenschwager. He's an independent journalist. Says, I have an update on the Daily Caller reporters currently in police custody from last night. They are being ROR'd in the next 4 hours. No bail or bond necessary. Charges still remaining for now. We'll update if I find out more. So I've seen an update since then. They were released, and as far as I understand, they're still being charged. So again, it's funny. Like, if this happened to anybody else, these reporters, this outlet would be saying, well, you should have complied with the police. You should have listened. If you just listened to the police, then you would have left the area. You wouldn't have got arrested. No harm done. Well, it happens to them, and all of a sudden, it's the end of the world. Okay. Wow. I almost spilled a glass of water, which would have been horrible. All over my soundboard. All right, let me grab some chats here. Andrew Dwyer says, what topics won't be discussed on Tuesday's debate? Good question. There actually was a... I should have done a video on this. There was a breakdown, I believe. From Chris Wallace of what he's going to be talking about. So if I can find that. If I can find it where it's not paywalled, then that'd be great. All right, so let's check out this. Let's see what the topics are. Here we go. On their records, the Supreme Court, COVID-19, the economy, race, and violence in our cities, and the integrity of the election. All right. So, as usual, no climate change. Healthcare, I guess, could be covered under COVID-19. I assume this is not just going to be about the protests in the streets, but also about criminal justice, and say the Breonna Taylor case. You saw nobody get charged for her actual murder. The only charge was for wanton endangerment, meaning her neighbor's walls that were hit by bullets, not the ones that she was hit with. So hopefully that's addressed in this debate as well. But I guess we're gonna have to find out. But yes, I feel like this summer has both has somehow lasted forever and also gone away too quickly. I feel like it was just yesterday where we had the virus. The pandemic was just starting. That was back in March. And now it's September and the first debate. It all came rather quickly, but I feel like while I was living through it, it felt like it was forever. Okay. And Andrew Dwyer follows up saying, what are your go-to sources for your videos? I'm all over the place. I reference Twitter a lot, as you see, so that could be anybody that posts a video on Twitter. So when it comes to clips, it could be, I don't know, it could be anything, really. But in terms of my normal reading, I mean, The Intercept, Jacobin, New Republic, CNN, to see what, in terms of not their, political analysis, but general coverage of news. I'm kind of all over the place. Twitter's kind of like the hub, and then I follow a bunch of accounts, and that's kind of how I find most of the stories. All right. Prepping the next story. This one, as I said earlier, did not get much of any coverage when it hit last week, and it really should. And I should have covered it early as well. Okay. Now, this story hit late last week, but it hit right before Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed. And because of that, I think a lot of people missed it. And that's that Donald Trump blocked masks from getting to people in early April. There was a plan on the books by the USPS. They were going to send 5 masks to every household in the US, and Trump stopped it. Now, before I get to more details here, think of how many lives could have been saved if all Trump did was take masks seriously. If all he did was say, you should wear a mask, a cloth mask, not N95 masks, since those are being saved for healthcare professionals, but a cloth mask. We're going to send everyone in the country 5 masks, wear a mask, stay safe. In fact, if he just did that, there's a strong likelihood he could be leading right now in polling. But he's being destroyed by Biden right now. And of course, a large part of that reason is because of his complete failure when it comes to the coronavirus. So Donna Moynihan tweeted out here, the USPS had a plan to send 5 reusable face masks to every household in early April, even had a press release ready. The White House blocked the plan. Quote, there was concern that households receiving masks might create concern or panic. This idea of causing panic doesn't make any sense in a pandemic. What are people going to do that would have made the numbers worse than they already are? If you told them, be safe, wear a mask. All this is about is the stock market. That's all Trump cares about. Because causing a panic during a pandemic, if you want to call it that, is just telling people to take the virus seriously. Physically distance as much as possible. Maybe take care of people with real financial help. Ensure they have masks to wear when they go out. But no, they have this vague idea of causing a panic that doesn't actually mean anything and ultimately led to 200,000 dead and millions getting the virus and having... By the way, if you have the virus, there's a lot of reporting now showing that there are long-term health impacts of that. So even if you get over it, you could have lifelong health impacts because you had the virus. So it isn't just the death count that people should be focused on, which even on its own is insanely high. 200,000 is ridiculous. And you compare the US numbers to any other major country, it's not even close. But let me show you here some more details. As the press release states, this effort would have marked a partnership with the White House Coronavirus Task Force and the Department of Health and Human Services, as well as a consortium of textile manufacturers. Packages of 5 face masks would have been delivered to each residential delivery point and P.O. box, and would have arrived with instructions on appropriate use as decided by health officials. Speaking with the Washington Post, an administration official claimed there was concern from the White House Domestic Policy Council, as well as the office of VP Mike Pence, that masks being sent to households could have caused panic. So they're not even denying this. They're not denying that this was the plan. They're not denying that they had this ready, that the USPS was ready to send this out, and that they stopped it. Really, this should be one of the biggest stories of the year, because this directly led to tens of thousands of people dying, directly led to millions more getting the virus, directly. So, this is the difference when you have a neo-fascist in power who does not care about people, who prioritizes the stock market over the lives of people in the country. This is the result of that. Unfucking believable. Okay. Dark Wings sends a super chat in saying, I thought you said yesterday, Thursday, you were going to take a day off on Friday. I did say that. Thanks for the Bernie Sanders streaming yesterday. Good show. Love from France. Yeah, here's the thing with me and time. I'm not all that reliable. Unless, I'm reliable when it comes to sending out, there's always going to be at least 2 videos a day. But when it comes to these live streams, the Twitch live stream, it's supposed to be every morning. This week, I think I streamed twice in the morning. Twitch is more of a laid-back stream, though, so I'm never really sure when I'm going to go live. The Friday live streams are usually almost every Friday at 3 p.m., but that can mean 3:30 p.m. It can mean 3:05 p.m. So it can mean 2:30 p.m. So it all depends on the day and kind of what's going on that day. Because I'm the only person running the show, sometimes things come up and stop me. But yeah, the reason I didn't do this live stream yesterday was because my eyes were glazing over by the end of the day. I had put out 3 videos and a live stream, and I could no longer see straight. So I had to move it to today, even though I really wanted to take this day off. But oh well. Anyways, thank you, Dark Wings, for your super chat. All right, let me prep this next story here. Also, maybe I should do these earlier. It's gonna feel good when I'm done this stream, and it's not dark outside. So something to consider. Maybe earlier streams. And I will say as well, I've been teasing this on my Twitch streams. Early next year, I should have a helping hand. Meaning more consistent, or likely even more videos going out on a regular basis, and a regular podcast. You heard the first episode, or maybe you didn't, but go to the SoundCloud link that I believe is below this video as well, or any podcast app, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Store, whatever. Check out Rational National Episode 1. It's on NAFTA and Canada and the US, and it'll give you an idea of the kind of podcast that you're going to see on a more regular basis starting more consistently next year, though we are going to have another episode coming out soon. But hopefully that will allow me to be a little less crazy, to have some extra help. All right. I hear more chats coming in. I will get those right after this next story. Time to do a little update on the race. I saw several new polls come out between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and these are worth taking a look at. Let's start with these. So this is from Change Polls and CNBC from September 18th to 20th. Let's check this out. Wisconsin, Biden up by 9 points. Michigan, Biden up by 8. Arizona, Biden up by 6. Pennsylvania, Biden up by 4. Florida, Biden up by 3. North Carolina, Biden up by 2. All recent polling, for the most part, has been favoring Joe Biden. Now, I say this quite a bit now. I'm fairly confident that Biden's going to win the popular vote. Hillary Clinton, incredibly disliked, hated, still beat Trump in the popular vote. So Biden is a little less hated. And right now you've seen 4 years of Trump. A lot of people that were not activated last time, or maybe just thought Hillary was going to win, so they stayed home, are going to be more activated this time to come out and vote. But that doesn't mean Trump won't try and steal the election by understanding that a lot of mail-in balloting is going to favor Joe Biden, meaning same-day voting will likely favor Trump. Trump may try and claim victory on Election Day, even though the full count isn't in. And because of the coronavirus, a lot of people voting by mail. Understand you're going to have to wait a few days for the final result. So, and by the way, the media, like mainstream press, should be telling you that as well. They should not expect to have the final result on Election Day. But anyways, these polls looking good. Check another one here. This is SurveyMonkey from September 1st to 21st. Minnesota, Biden up by 14. Michigan, Biden up by 10. North Carolina, Biden up by 9. Pennsylvania, Biden up by 7. Florida, Biden up by 7. Wisconsin, Biden up by 7. So again, looking pretty good. And take a glance here at the national polling. So this is the 538 average of this. They have their own calculation in terms of weighing certain polling based on their accuracy in the past. So for the most part, their averages are more accurate than, say, Real Clear Politics is. But take a look here. Biden up by 7.1 nationally. So looking pretty good nationally as well. Of course, what matters most is the swing states, is the Electoral College. So looking great here. But again, it's very important that you vote. And if possible, if you're healthy, if you're in a county that isn't too bad with the virus, if you are super careful, wear a mask, wear gloves, physically distance, I would vote in person early. Because Trump is going to try something with the mail-in ballots. You already see him setting it up. So the bigger or the closer the margin is, or maybe if Biden has a blowout on Election Day, then the harder it will be for Trump to steal the election if Biden is leading on Election Day, meaning mostly in-person balloting. So if you're able to, again, if you don't feel comfortable, then don't do it. Vote by mail. But if you feel safe, if you're in a county that isn't too hard hit, then vote early. So you're avoiding the Election Day crowds. Vote early if that's available to you, and in person, because it's going to, this election, it's going to take everybody. And the bigger the loss is for Trump in terms of the popular vote, the harder it will be for him to try and steal the election. And of course, look, I feel like I don't need to say this every time now, but if Biden does win, the fight starts. I am so excited. Honestly, I am so excited to do videos in opposition to a neoliberal Biden-Harris presidency. I am very excited for that. What I am not excited for is trying to fight for just basic human rights under Trump's neo-fascism. That to me is not enticing whatsoever. Okay. A lot of chats coming in. Let me grab these. So let me just check my memory on this computer. Okay. I'm recording the show, and sometimes I'm worried that if I hit the limit on this hard drive, that it'll crash the entire thing. So, but I'm looking good right now. All right, some chats. Steel Savior says Vosh is great. Yes, I enjoy Vosh. He's really good. Tyler Cross says I've turned on the bell for you and other leftist independent news sources, and I never get told when you post a vid or go live. That's weird. Turn it off and turn it back on and see if that does anything. Because otherwise, I'm not sure. I don't know what to say. It's also possible that you have notifications turned off for YouTube in your phone. I would check that as well, because if you're not getting any notifications, it's possible it's just because of how your phone is set and not because of how YouTube is set. So look into that. Streams Walls sends me a super sticker that says "My hero." Thank you very much. Much appreciated. SR Warner says, thank you so much for all the cow stomach work you do. I can't tell you how important it is to have it pre-digested. I don't know what this means, but okay, thank you. Balthazar says, if Trump had let the idiot businessman overcome the idiot fascist and marketed MAGA masks as the only way to not get COVID, Joe would lose. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if MAGA masks, whatever. Yeah, that would have worked for his base, yes. But yeah, even just apart from that, if he didn't shut down the USPS plan to send out masks, 5 masks to every household, and he took the virus seriously from the start, with that, and also maybe financial help, like a UBI of some sort that people like Bernie Sanders were fighting for, and Ro Khanna, that would have helped as well. But you can't expect Trump to give a shit about anybody but himself. Sarah Lee says, support from Scotland. Thank you for your time and effort. Thank you, Sarah, for your donation. Ricky G says, David, you are a beautiful dude and your content is great too. As a Texas native, please tell me everything is going to be okay. Ricky, I can't guarantee anything. I am doing the best I can to try and make things slightly better if possible. I know, my audience is tiny compared to other channels, or cable networks, for example. But if I can try and communicate to people how important this election is to get out Trump, and if that has any impact, then good. But nothing is ever going to be okay, regardless. Even if it was Bernie as the president, there's always going to be issues, things to solve, improvements to make. So, but getting out Trump right now is the priority. Ronald 6 Wilson says, how should Canadians respond if Trump rigs the election and the Trudeau government still recognizes the outcome? I was thinking about this because I don't know. I'm also not really confident that Trudeau would recognize the outcome. The only way that he would recognize the outcome is if Democrats accept the result. So if Democrats, if Trump steals the election, however he steals it, there's a great Atlantic piece that I referenced earlier on in the week that breaks down a number of ways that they're already discussing in the White House and in GOP circles how to steal the election. If he's successful at doing that, other governments, like in Canada, we're not going to accept the result until the Democratic Party accepts the result. So which is not a good sign normally, as we see how weak the party is at being the opposition party. So we're going to have to see, though, that they've been a little more clear this time. I think both Hillary and Obama, or one or the other, said that basically told Biden, if Trump tries to claim victory, don't let him claim victory. Don't concede. I think it was Hillary's statements, actually. She said, don't concede. Obviously, from her experience, maybe she conceded too early, but she still lost the Electoral College, even though she won the popular vote. So not much she could really do there. But in Biden's case, yeah, he should not concede. Unless he won the election fairly, obviously. If Trump wins fairly, then not much you can do. But don't expect that to happen. Where was I here? Balthazar says, I could absolutely envision the possibility of Dems flipping the Senate and losing the presidency. I'm not sure how that would happen. I guess it's possible. It's more likely, though, that Biden wins the election, but doesn't flip the Senate. So I don't know about that. Lila E, or Leela, I'm not good at pronunciations, says, love your content / channel. Keep it coming, David. Love from Australia. Thank you so much. Or is it Austria? Some weird spelling there. But thank you so much. Appreciate it. Fully automated luxury LGBT says, some need sites if you go to it in an incognito tab, it resets the amount of free articles. Oh, you're talking about, this is in reference to me seeing a lot of paywalled sites now. If you go in incognito tab, it resets the amount of free articles in that incognito tab. Depends on the site, though, not always. Yeah, my experience, it for the most part, that doesn't work. I've tried. So no. And like, if it was a place that I actually respect and they do good work, I have no problem giving them money. But like, it's the Washington Post, New York Times, sites like that, I'm not going to give them a cent. And they have ways of getting around the incognito tab and other methods. SR Warner says, cows have 4 stomachs and they pre-digest. Montana joke. Montana joke. Love you. Thank you, Warner. Oh, there you go. That makes sense. Needle drop. What's up? Anthony Fantano says, sponsor me to come to Canada, bro. Save me. There's already a long list. I got Nomiki Const coming to Canada. I'll get some others too. I'll have Mike Figueredo come up here. Maybe Progressive Voice, Sahil. You can come up. I'll do what I can. If you can all fit into my Subaru Impreza, my 2011 Subaru Impreza with 5 seats, maybe somebody can fit in the back or on the roof rack. We will see. I'll try. I'll do my best. Thank you, Anthony, for the super chat. All right, good time to pause to move on to the next story here. This one is pure comedy. And I have many links, so bear with me as I prep this. All right. Sorry, a lot of reference material here, but just because this story was so funny, I wanted to get several reactions from the internet. All right. All right. I love this story. Now, this is a story that I'm filing under comedy. Right-wing media is claiming that anarchists burned somebody's house down and spray painted their garage door with Biden 2020. Anarchists. Biden 2020. This is too funny, and it reminds me of another story that happened a couple of years ago. I will reference in a second. But first, here is the this piece of information shared by Kyle Hooten here. I believe this is a MAGA. Here you go, right for Daily Caller. So, tweets out here. A Minneapolis area home was reportedly burned last night, and Biden 2020, Antifa's anarchist symbol, and the NBLM was found, graffiti was found at the scene. So, the anarchist symbol, Black Lives Matter, and Biden 2020, because all those anarchists, huge Biden supporters. So here's the initial story. Deanna Mola here on Facebook wrote, "This morning at 3:48 a.m., our house was targeted by Black Lives Matter Antifa. We woke up to a loud explosion and saw that our camper was on fire, along with both of Dennis's trucks, his garage, and our entire backyard. Thank God our main house is safe. We are safe. Our children are safe. Thank you so much to the Brooklyn Center Police Department, Minnesota, for helping us get our family out of the house. And a special thanks to Officer C. Jordan and another officer and firefighters for saving our dogs. He said it was so hot they almost had to leave them. Thank you, God, we are alive and safe, and pray that justice is served." Okay, here's the house on fire. Look, house fires are a serious thing. So this part is, I'm not enjoying this part. But the idea, let me give you a bigger image here. The idea that this was done by anarchists that support Joe, these people don't exist. And look at the neat A here. This is the anarchist symbol. An A with a circle perfectly around it. Black Lives Matter. Well, why? Why would they randomly target this person's house? Oh my God. Of course, the Trump campaign jumped on this. In Minnesota, a suspicious fire destroyed a freshly vandalized garage where Trump campaign flags were displayed. Fresh spray paint on the garage read Biden 2020, Black Lives Matter, and an anarchist symbol. Oh my God. Wow. What won't these Biden anarchists do? Maybe it was Biden himself. I'm told he's a communist. So this absurd story reminded me of this story. So this is 2017. Trump supporter arrested for playground vandalism in world's worst false flag operation. This guy was caught on camera. This Trump supporter caught on camera writing things like death to Trump, left is best. This Bernie Sanders 2020. This left is best. If you hear anybody say left is best, this phrase has kind of gone around now in left-wing media and just left-wing circles in general. If you see left is best, it originates from this story. This is the story that made this up. Nobody had ever said this before. Left is best is not something anybody on the left ever said. And now it's used as a phrase, kind of like a joking phrase that ultimately references this story from 2017. So it's very likely what also happened in this case as well, because conservatives have this comical version of what the left is. Like, to them, Nancy Pelosi, AOC, communists, anarchists, they're all on the same side. They're all fighting for the same things. Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, communists, Biden, anarchists, you name it, it's all just the left. They're all together. They're all working together. It shows you just how completely uneducated these people are. They're stuck to their right-wing bubbles, and they think they can, write Biden 2020 along with Black Lives Matter and the anarchist symbol, or left is best, and that we're going to get those leftists by framing them for whatever destruction they cause that I'm causing. Let me now give you some reactions here from around the internet. I really enjoyed people's responses to this. May says, BLM says, one of the best things about leftism is that no matter how hard they try, conservatives can never fake it because they don't understand it. No leftist would ever spray paint Biden 2020 and an anarchist symbol on anything. Exactly. Never Biden's hairy legs tweets out here. So wait, quote, anarchists spray painted Biden 2020 during an uprising against cops because Biden wants to create ... more cops. Methinks dumbass MAGA wanted insurance money. Definitely a possibility. Molly Conger here tweets out, if I were to blow up my own garage in an attempt to commit insurance fraud, I would not frame a group that does not exist. Anarchists for Trump. Jed here says, I know everyone is laughing at the idea of an actual anarchist ever spray painting Biden 2020 anywhere, but what's truly sending me here is the A neatly contained within its circle. Yes. This is not the anarchist symbol. This is hilarious. All of this is hilarious. Mark Quill here, last reaction, says anarchists burned my friend's house down, left an anarchy A that looks like the Avengers logo, and the words Trudeau rules. Oh man, this is completely absurd. And maybe there's an update to this story. I haven't seen one yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing who actually did this, because you damn well know this was not a Biden supporting anarchist. Man. Stories like that remind you, or should remind you, that you know more than the average person does. Because there is no anarchist that would spray paint Biden 2020. Completely absurd. Okay, break there. I will get to a Canadian story in a minute, but you're going to like it. You're going to like it regardless of where you live. But let's see if we got more chats. More chats coming in. All right. Rishad Patel says abolishing winner takes all is the path forward. Yes. Yes. Definitely needs some real electoral reform. Get rid of first past the post. Needs to be ranked choice ballots and proportional representation. Yeah, that's definitely a major piece of having a true democracy. Streamwalls, thank you for your little super sticker there. Thank you so much. MC Dano says, how should we fight against the impending doom of eco-fascism? That's a big question. There are many ways. It's whatever avenue you appeals to you, be it joining a political group like DSA or Black Lives Matter, or the People's Party going forward after this election. Or unionizing your workplace. It comes down to we have to build power. So you have to think of various ways you can build power. One of the most important ways that we can begin that is through unions, unionization. You have to unionize your workplace and ensure that you have power when it comes to your daily life, what you do for a living. And that extends to democracy. So that's the beginning of it. But again, whatever appeals to you in terms of what you're focused on, like for me right now, it's hard to even think about anything else except for getting out Trump when it comes to U.S. politics. Really, we got 6 months to go, or 6 months, like 6 weeks to go, or 5 weeks to go. That's the focus right now. So cut off the tumor. When the tumor's cut off, we can focus more on the steps forward. But until the tumor's gone, not much you can really do. Balthazar says, if Biden does become president and the Senate flips, the greatest enemy of the left becomes... Let me read this again. If Biden does become president and the Senate flips, the greatest enemy of the left becomes the K-Hive armor. We'll have to pull off criticism of Dems. Yes, I agree. And it is a lot easier to fight a neoliberal Biden administration when we already have a built-in left movement, and you dump a crisis, a pandemic, an economic crisis on a neoliberal Joe Biden White House. Show people Biden is not giving you Medicare for all. It's not offering you a universal basic income. Has no real difference when it comes to foreign policy. That's how you start that conversation and really grow it. And it's not just people on YouTube this time. It's people in Congress making that argument. So it's going to have there's going to be a mainstream discussion about the future of the Democratic Party. Is it going to be the Lincoln Project future, or is it going to be the AOC future? So That's a discussion we will have, and we will win because the facts are on our side. And the voting public, when it comes to policy issues, you see polling on policy issues like Medicare for all, or free public college, or a wealth tax, or raising wages. The American people are for all of those progressive Bernie Sanders issues. So you already have the public on your side. All you got to do now is build the power to be able to enact those sorts of changes. Trudy says an R, I think meaning Republican, said vote Trump because abortion. I quoted a biblical passage that uses chemical abortion to determine if a woman committed adultery. Crickets. Yes, there is at least one, if not two, passages in the Bible that reference abortion. Talk about, I think the one you're likely referring to is taking a potion to get rid of the baby because of adultery, or a baby that's been produced because of adultery. So yeah, if anybody that is anti-choice because of the Bible, all you gotta do is look up that passage, use that passage on them. Now, they're probably not going to admit it or or be moved by it, but it completely takes out their argument that God is against it. So, yeah. All right, pausing there to get to the next story here. All right, Canadian story. And then after that, it'll be I think I'll play this clip from Jacob Blake's father. Now I'm losing my voice. Great, this is good timing. After this Canadian story, a clip from Jacob Blake's father that I want to share. And then I'll get to all your chats and everything else. And next week, I'd like to have a story on this anyways, but next week, Green Party leadership voting begins. If you are a Canadian Green Party member, vote for Dimitri Lascaris. It's a ranked choice ballot, so you could put his name first. There are two others that are also fairly strong on the issues, though Dimitri is the closest to actually being able to become the leader. But Dimitri Lascaris, 100%, he will change the conversation in Canada if he becomes a Green Party leader. And I think he also has the potential to really grow the party as well. All right. So the NDP have been instrumental in Canada in terms of their role during this pandemic in getting people the help that they need. So even though the NDP do not hold power, the Liberals hold a minority government, the pressure that the NDP has put on the Liberals, we've seen, the major accomplishment being the $2,000 a month that Canadians receive through the CERB. That's because of the NDP fighting for that. And they've done it again. So before I get to what the Liberals have now given into when it comes to the NDP and their demands, this week was Trudeau's speech from the throne, essentially setting out goals for the new session of Parliament. And because he holds a minority government, he needs support from another party to be able to hold that government. So this gets into the NDP. One highlight from Trudeau's speech from the throne was that he called essentially saying that this is not a time for austerity. So the Liberal intention here is actually to invest into people, which is a good start. But the speech still fell short from what the NDP expected when it came to two particular areas. So let me show you first Jagmeet Singh. So NDP leader Jagmeet Singh here discussing, this is what he said after the speech and what he is calling for here on what he wants to see the Liberal government do.
I want to be clear. I want to put the proposition in the positive. We put forward our two demands, and if the government puts forward legislation, makes it clear they're going to do these two things, extend CERB and put in place paid sick leave for all Canadians so that no one has to make the impossible choice, we will support that. So to put it in the positive, those two things are put in place in legislation. We will vote yes for those, and we will support that, and we will move forward.
All right, so there, calling for just two things. Extending the CERB, so ensuring that, so the CERB is now moving into unemployment insurance, but ensuring that that $2,000 a month is still going to be there for Canadians that need it. So that's one of his demands, as the the Trudeau Liberals were going to cut that, and the other one being paid sick leave. Now, let me show you what happened. Althea Raj here of HuffPost tweeted out, Liberals agree to NDP demand to increase benefit from $400 to $500 a week, meaning $2,000 a month. So it worked. The pressure from the NDP on the Liberal government to give Canadians more worked. And they're also, the sick leave part I'm a little confused by, because there is still a... they have a, I'm sure you can't read it from here, but the Canadian Recovery Sickness Benefit, so $500 per week for up to 2 weeks for workers who are sick or must self-isolate. So they appear to also give into that demand as well. But Jagmeet Singh appears to say here that they're still fighting for that. So let me show you his reaction to what the Liberals came back with.
Friends, I got some exciting news for you. We've been fighting hard to make sure the Liberal government does not cut the help that people receive who are on CERB right now to $1,600. The Liberal proposal is going to cut the help that people who cannot get back to work right now, the help that they receive, by $400. We fought back and said no. People need to know that there's help for them if they need it, and that help will remain $2,000. So we got that win for you, for people. You can count on that $2,000 being there for you. The next thing we're fighting for is to make sure any worker that falls sick can rely on paid sick leave. We're in the middle of negotiations, and we're very hopeful we can get that as well, to make sure that no one has to make the impossible choice of going into work sick or staying at home and not knowing how they're going to pay the bills without having any income from not going into work. So I know that people are worried. I want you to know that we're fighting for you.
There you go. This is the result of having a solid left-wing opposition. So because it is a minority government, the Liberals actually have to work with other parties. And because Conservatives are just going to be blanket anti-Trudeau, not going to really work with him on anything, it actually kind of benefits the left, because it means that Trudeau is then forced to move more left to try and appeal to NDP voters and the party, meaning that what he puts forward is going to be more beneficial to Canadians as a whole. So you see here, Jagmeet Singh very happy to see that the $2,000 a month is going to stay, and continuing to work on the sick days. But basically, this means we're not going to have a fall election. He almost certainly is going to accept now what the Liberals have put forward, and it's unlikely that we're going to see an election this fall. Thank God. I really did not want to have to get out and vote this year, or really even cover an election. I'm perfectly happy with how the minority government is functioning right now. Obviously, there's always ways to improve the system. Students especially have basically, in many ways, been left behind during this pandemic. That said, I've been enjoying how the NDP have pulled the Liberals to the left, and I think we're going to continue seeing that. And hopefully, if we get a strong Green Party leader out of this leadership race in Canada, Dimitri Lascaris, I'm polling for him for Green Party leader, we're really going to have a completely transformed discussion around politics in Canada. All right. How about that? Some good news. You had to go up north for the good news, but it's there. If you look hard enough, it's there. I do have one more story that I want to get to, but let me grab some chats. I was losing my voice during that segment, if you noticed. Was struggling. Should have made some tea. The air gets super dry in the winter here. And in the fall. So that's what I'm now feeling. Okay. Balthazar says there's only one anarchist who's pushing for Biden, and I'm pretty sure he's in Seattle doing Fall Guys and political advocacy streams every day or two. That's a reference to Vosh. Very funny. Fully automated luxury LGBT says friends don't just join any union. You should join the one big union, the IWW. iww.org/membership. Contact your local branch, iww.org/directory. All right. People in the chat, live chat, can check that out. Tyler Cross says, Sikhs are awesome people. Yes, they are. Yes, Jagmeet Singh is a Sikh. Look, I have my criticisms of him for sure. I wish he was bolder, especially when it comes to foreign policy issues. But he's pretty good. It's pretty good. That said, if Dimitri Lascaris becomes Green Leader, you're going to see why I expect more out of Jagmeet Singh. Dimitri does not hold back. He is bold and loud and does not care if you disagree with him, or doesn't care how the media is going to take him. He's straight to the facts. He's objective. He gives you his analysis, and it's always fact based. And he does not hold back. So it would be awesome to have him as one of the leaders. All right, pause in there. One last segment, I guess I should say. Then I'll take the rest of the chats, super chats, and I'll grab any other random chats that I see come by as well. But one more story here. If I don't lose my voice, that'd be it'll help if I don't lose my voice. But I am. 3-hour-old coffee. Fantastic. Okay. Jacob Blake's father was on Democracy Now! To discuss how his son is doing. Of course, Jacob Blake, he was the man who was shot in the back by a cop as he was getting into a car, and he's now paralyzed from the waist down. He was on to talk about his son and also his reaction to the lack of charges in the Breonna Taylor case. And he gave a real emotional plea, and that I want to play it for you, because this, hopefully, look, if you're watching these videos, you likely already understand the importance of of standing up for Black lives. But if you don't, maybe this will help you understand what the Black community is going through.
In regards to the emotional...
Audio on these videos are never high enough.
In regards to the emotional way that some things get me, you guys got me with when I was listening to Breonna's...
Hold on, I'm gonna make this live streamed for the live audience. I feel awkward just sitting here.
boyfriend. In regards to the emotional way that some things get me. You guys got me with when I was listening to Brianna's boyfriend. And that 911 call, he was scared to death. Why are our children scared to death of people that are supposed to protect and serve them? In 2020, why do I have to continuously tell people that my son is a human being? Why are we looked at like we're animals? It's not a good place to be in. My father got beat for marching for civil rights 50 years ago, and we're still trying to get equal rights. At some point in time, you get tired. There's no avenue that's given you directly to do what you need to do. No one can explain to you what to do. They tell you it takes time. Well, how much time? They tell you to vote, and we vote, and we're going to keep voting. We have to change these laws, and we have to do something, because we've come up to this point to where the whole world is seeing the two systems of justice, and we're not in the mood nor in the mindset of taking it anymore.
Okay. It's hard to know what to say. When you see a case like Breonna Taylor, where they charge, the only charges laid are for the bullets that hit into her neighbor's apartment, for wanton endangerment, for potentially endangering other people, but no charges laid for the bullets that killed her after they broke their door down, shot 20 times into the apartment. It doesn't even occur to me how you can frame this in any other way than just looking at the facts. Look at what happened. And that's just the Breonna Taylor case. I mean, we can go through everything else, but this happens all the time in various ways. But imagine you're home and you hear banging at your door at 12:30 in the morning. Isn't that going to freak you out? If you're in a place where you can carry a gun to protect yourself in your home, you're likely going to grab that gun. And then when whoever it is breaks through your door, you're probably going to shoot because you're scared. And that's what happened. Her boyfriend shot once, didn't know who was breaking in. They broke in. It was plainclothes police officers. He shot once, then they shot 20 times back, killing her. And the only justice served is for drywall. Drywall that was hit. And then Jacob Blake getting shot in the back. Paralyzed for life. It's amazing he's alive, but paralyzed for life. And all this stuff, like, that was caught on camera. So many of these are caught on camera, and so many more are not. The majority of these cases are not caught on camera and never get a public hearing. We don't hear about them. This kind of shit happens all the time, and it is completely insane. The bare minimum is to cut these police budgets. That's the bare minimum, is to cut the budgets. You've seen increase in police budgets year after year after year in these major cities. Meanwhile, cuts to healthcare, cuts to education, cuts to public transportation, cuts to public services, cuts to everything else that actually helps people on a daily basis, except for cuts to police. It's insane. At the very least, you have to move many of these responsibilities to other areas. Mental health calls, public health calls in general need to be moved into public health and not given to police officers. There needs to be a narrow focus of what the police actually do. And by the way, look, I'm the moderate on this. There are a lot of people who say abolish the police, and again, even abolish the police doesn't mean, crime runs free. It just means a different way of imagining how to enforce laws. But I'm someone who still thinks, look, there's still a place, I think, for the police to react to violent crime, but they don't need to be occupying streets. They don't need to be wearing riot gear. I have another. You know what? I'll show you something else right now. This right here. Memphis. Police in Memphis now have taser shields. Taser shields. Tase people with a shield. Why is there money being poured into this? While there's cuts to education, cuts to healthcare. What kind of society do you think this creates? When all your money is put into policing, put into riot gear, put into armored trucks, put into guns, put into weapons. What kind of society do you think that creates? It creates the chaos you're seeing now. There has to be a complete reimagining of the police force. Call it defund, call it abolish, call it whatever you want. But clearly something substantial has to be done. All right. Let me grab chats now. I gotta put these stories in the middle of my lineup here. I do not want to end pissed off. Okay, where was I? Ken C says America in 2020 is almost like Fallout. Actually, let me. Here you go. Ignore if there's any craziness here. Just ignore it. But I want to give you all representation here on screen. Ken C says America is 2020. America in 2020 is almost like Fallout America in 2077. I have not played the new Fallout games or the old ones. It's one of my only blind spots really in gaming, believe it or not. Gina McGrath says hearing those stories makes me wish I was Canadian. Stop making me jealous, David. It's not perfect up here either. There are many issues, especially with how the Indigenous community has been treated in Canada for decades. But yes, we don't have Trump, that's for sure. Lady AM says, David, you post phenomenal content. Thank you. Please keep it up. Thank you. Thank you so much. Geese Studio says, how can I be proud of a system that treats people like me less than drywall? I hear you. That's why we got to work to change it. And we all have to be in that discussion. Because let's be real, it's white people that designed it this way. So if you're white, it's your responsibility to be involved and speak out and do whatever you can to inform people. Do whatever the hell you can to ensure that society's moved in a more humane direction. Sarah Lee says, from 85-year-old mom in California, quote, defunding the police should not be an issue. Social services and rehab used to have those duties until the 80s. crime and homelessness elevated after increased policing and decreased services. You have a brilliant 85-year-old mom. That's for sure. It says NCA. I assume that was California, but maybe it's not, because you are sending me 25 pounds here. But thank you so much, Sarah, for your donation and for that comment. DJ says, hey, David, may I ask a slightly off-topic question? You could have asked it in your chat, but yeah, you can ask anything. It's not guaranteed I'm going to answer it if it's, too personal or something, but ask me whatever you want. All right. That is the end of those, unless DJ comes back. But let me grab some random chats before I'm out of here. Look at this. An early Friday live stream. Who would have thought? Maybe I should do this on a more consistent basis. I'm seeing new chats coming in. Balthazar says, can you imagine if Canada elected Doug Ford Prime Minister? Unfortunately, I could imagine that. I don't want to, but I could imagine that imagine that happening. But there's a new conservative leader now, so that's unlikely to happen. All right. Some random chats. SR Warner says, love more, care less. Love more, care less. I don't know what that even means. Lawn Gnomes says, I saw taser shields when touring Supermax prison. Sad to see them out on the streets, but at least they can't forget it and draw their firearms instead. Streamwalls says, love you. I've been watching you since high school. Now I'm in my third year of college. Keep speaking about BLM and voting. That means you've been watching since almost the beginning. Because I launched this channel to be the beginning of 2016, I think. Yes. Yeah, because yeah, 2016. So you have been, wow. Thank you for being a loyal viewer. All right. Let's grab some random chats here before I keep saying before I get out of here. It's because the show's called The Rational National. If it was called The David Dole Show, I don't think I would say but because I called it The Rational National, it's almost like I have a team here, but I don't. But let me grab some chats. Winston says Sam Cedar wants to marry any Canadians. Well, I don't think I know any single Canadians his age, so I'm not sure I can help out. Miranda Jouvin says, making a wish with every fiber of my being that someday, much sooner than later, please, we will go whole days without ever hearing the name Trump. Yes. One of the things I'm definitely looking forward to. Apart from the obvious benefit of having Trump out when it comes to policy and just his cultural impact, you've seen a massive rise in hate crimes during his years in office. Apart from those obvious benefits of getting Trump out, on a personal level, I am really excited to never have to talk about Trump again, at least hopefully. So that's, I cannot wait to fight a Biden presidency from the left. That's what I'm looking forward to doing. And fight a Trudeau minority government from the left as well, with hopefully a solid Green and NDP party. DJ says, the question is, considering the individual wins of Omar, Bush, Bowman, and Markey is one thing, but overall, have the progressives had a truly good primary winning season / year against the corporatists? My question is, considering the individual wins, first of all, this is not off top. This isn't off topic. This is very on topic. It's political. Considering the individual wins of Omar, Bush, Bowman, and Markey is one thing, but overall, so you have to judge it all in context, right? Because progressives don't have the barrels of money that corporate candidates do. So understanding that a good candidate like Jamal Bowman or Cori Bush, that they come from the grassroots, that they have to rely on small individual donors. They don't take corporate money. Understanding that, then yeah, they had, I think, a great primary. And it's because the Justice Dems really focused their attention on particular races, as I think they should. If they wore themselves too thin and were trying to help, every single primary race, they may not have won that the Elliot Engel seat that Jamal Bowman won. They may have not won the Lacey Clay seat that Cori Bush won. So you have to consider all of that when judging these successes, and understand as well that there are limitations as long as the White House is controlled by the GOP. As long as they control the White House, the Senate, there's not all that much that progressives in Congress can actually do. But if the Senate is flipped this year and the White House goes to Biden, then we're going to have some real debate, some real discussion from those members, and them pushing the party in the right direction, as they've already begun. I mean, they've already begun to do that. But again, their power is limited so long as Democrats don't hold ultimate power in the White House or the Senate. Okay, there we go. Let me grab some random normie chats, as I call them, and then take a break. And don't worry, you can all get to Majority Report and go watch that show, as I'm sure some of you already have, as the numbers have dwindled down a little bit. Let's see here. What can I grab randomly? Taylor Queensbury says Canadian bachelors are going to be popular with American women. That's funny. Snoop Master says, can Kamala Harris just destroy Pence? I am most looking forward to that debate. Out of all the debates, the VP debate is the one I'm most looking forward to. And it's because Kamala Harris has the ability to slay Republicans. You've seen her when it comes to hearings. Came to Brett Kavanaugh. She has the ability to really do that. She definitely has. She's weak when it comes to other areas, which is good, because we don't want a strong VP when it comes to the left and fighting that administration. So she definitely has weak moments, like when she's asked about like Medicare for all and her wavering support on that. She goes into her laughing fit to try and mask the fact that she is two-faced in that regard. But when it comes to her fighting Republicans, she's awesome. So I am absolutely looking forward to Pence getting destroyed, and I hope he is. And by the way, since we're on the topic, I think I will try to cover the debate next week. It's the 29th, I believe, right? Anyways, we'll figure that out tomorrow, next week. But yeah, I will cover that debate live, probably on Twitch, as YouTube is a little more stringent, more strict with their copyright stuff. And even though it's fair use, it would be perfectly legal for me to cover it on here. YouTube is always in favor of the copyright claimant. So I will likely have to do it on Twitch. But the Twitch link below the video, follow me on Twitch so you get notified when I go live on there. All right. One more normie, and then I heard some other super chats come in. I'll grab those, and then we'll get out of here. Snoop Master says, I don't even remember Hillary's VP. Tim Kaine. Tim Garbage Kaine. I believe that is his official middle name. Tim the Garbage Kaine. What else can I grab here? All right. Not seeing too much else. I'm going to grab Super Chat. And as I'm doing this, I want to thank you all for showing up, supporting me, supporting the show. You help keep it going. These super chats help keep it going. Your presence here help keep it going. YouTube suppresses independent media. If you go to the news tab on the homepage on YouTube, you will not see myself. You won't see Humanist Report. You won't see Christo. You won't see Kyle Kalinske. I don't think you'll even see TYT. They just completely suppress independent media on here. So the only way we have to exist really is through word of mouth, through you sharing these sorts of videos, and of course through your help financially, be it Patreon, Super Chats, membership, what have you. So thank you again. Okay, where did I stop? Here. Last question, unless one comes in super late. Miranda Juvan says, quote, I ask no favor for my sex or race. All I ask of our brethren is that they take their feet off of our necks. RBG, rest in power. There you go. Thank you, Miranda. Thank you all for showing up. And again, I'll be here next week on Friday, and likely as well on Twitch, streaming the debate. Catch all the videos posted over the weekend. If you missed anything during this live stream and just want to watch segments, I'll have them up during this weekend. You can check those out. Thanks again. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon so you're notified, and hit the like button as well, as it helps this channel get out to more people. Thank you again for showing up, and see you next week. Goodbye.